Let me ask you a question. Does what is happening now seem rather familiar to you? It should. Because what is occurring before your eyes right now follows a pattern that is older than most people realize. And once you notice it, once you're aware of it, you can't unsee it. Because the effort to muzzle Candace Owens is not about truth or safety or responsibility. It's about power and control. And if her arguments were weak, the answer would be simple and boring. Let her talk. Let her make her case. Let her bad ideas fall apart in public. Let her make a fool out of herself. See, that's how false claims die. And that's how credibility collapses. And that's how open societies are supposed to work, theoretically. But that's not what's happening. Instead, there is a frantic, coordinated rush to shut her down before she can even finish speaking, to smear her sources ahead of time, immediately, and to declare her illegitimate before the audience can hear her out. And that behavior doesn't show strength, it shows fear. And many of us have seen this before. Because after 9/11, when people asked questions about what they personally saw, including me, they weren't answered. They were labeled. They were called crazy and delusional and a conspiracy theorist. And nobody engaged the substances. Nobody met physics or engineering or serious rebuttal. Instead of addressing concerns about, say, World Trade Center 7, free fall collapses, controlled demolition, structural contradictions, and more expert testimony than you can imagine that raised hard questions, people were told to just shut up and go away. Not because the questions were solved, but because the questions were dangerous. Dangerous not to truth, but to story control and narrative control. And that's why people mean when they say that they are trying to 9/11 Candace. They're trying to 9/11 her. We've seen this before. Not that events are the same, but that the method is the same. Because the method is simple. Do not debate the claim. Attack the person. Do not address evidence. Change the subject. Change the subject to the mental state or the motives of the one asking. Don't let questions breathe. Make the social cost of asking so high that most people self-censor. And this isn't guesswork. Because in 1967, after criticism of the Warren Commission, after it spread all over the place and nobody bought the story, the CIA issued the now famous dispatch 1035-960. Look it up, please. And the purpose was to counter doubt about the JFK story, the narrative, the official story. And the plan wasn't to answer critics point by point, but to reframe them, to label them conspiracy theorists, to weaponize conspiracy theory for the first time. Not as an explanation or a description of a thought, but as a form of mental illness, suggesting emotional instability. Does this sound familiar? To stress consensus and authority. You've heard this. How can you question this? All of us believe this. How can you question the Charlie Kirk story, Candace? Don't you understand? It's Trevor. We've done the work for you. Now shut up and go home. What do you know, little lady? Right? To pick small errors to discredit everything and to redirect attention to the most extreme interpretation instead of the strongest arguments. And the goal was not truth. The goal was containment. And that matters because it explains exactly what we're watching now. When Candace raises questions, the response is not, here is why it fails, or this is where you're wrong, or maybe we can add some additional information. No. The answer is she's malicious, she's insane, irresponsible, she's dangerous. Don't listen to her. Shut it down. Shut her down. Now, early. That isn't how truth behaves. Truth welcomes testing. Truth invites it. Please verify it. Please peer review. Truth doesn't panic. Lies panic. And here's the most important question, the one nobody attacking Candace wants to answer. If the stories she's examining, if they're nonsense, if the sources are fake, if the claims have no merit, if her witnesses are crazy, why not let her speak? Why not let the audience hear it? Why not let her flaws and insanity show themselves? I mean, after all, if you want to discredit her and she's crazy, let the crazy people talk, right? Why not let her credibility collapse in free fall naturally? Why? Because that's the fastest way to destroy bad reporting. Silence isn't needed when falsity is obvious. Interruption is only required when exposure is risky. And the urgency tells you everything because people are not waiting. They're racing to discredit sources before anyone hears them, racing at breakneck speed to define the story before Candace finishes a sentence, racing, speeding to frame questions as insanity before people can think for themselves. And that only makes sense if the fear is not that she's wrong, but that she's being heard. And this is not about protecting the public. If it were, there would be patience and calm and replies and clear lines between claims and conclusions. And Candace has repeatedly framed things as under review, not apodictic, not black and white, not settled, which is how careful work happens. But careful work at scale is intolerable to people who depend on permission-based relevance. And the Mitch Snow episode, that shows this clearly, because a witness account discussed as something to examine set off a meltdown. Alex Jones, whom I respect, responded with flight logs and alibis he says contradicted, which is fair because claims should be tested. But instead of stopping there, the reaction jumped to motive and attacks and claims of pre-planned manipulation and character smears. And then Laura Loomer jumped in, this is even better, claiming she personally convinced Alex Jones to see Candace as dangerous. Can you believe that? She did it. Alex didn't know anything. Laura Loomer did it. Oh, Alex had nothing to do with that. Alex, of course, denied that. He said his views came from his own work. And suddenly the focus was not facts, but ego. Who flipped whom? Who gets credit? Who controls the story? And the audience sees this for what it is. A power fight, not a truth search. And Candace becomes the target, not because she belongs to one side, but because she belongs to no one. She doesn't answer to Loomer or Jones or TPUSA or donors or committees or gatekeepers. She speaks directly to millions. She speaks to you who decide for yourselves. And that independence is the threat. And this did not start with one witness or one show. It started when Candace questioned groups others treat as sacred. When she refused to fall in line, when she challenged permission-based relevance. Again, I keep saying that, permission-based. You can say it so long as we okay it ahead of time, a priori. And the current destruction is just the excuse. And look at what's missing. People move on so fast. No one is seriously chasing Epstein anymore. Remember that? No one's pressing hard on Virginia Giuffre. No one's asking who killed Charlie Kirk. You see why I'm saying this is what scares me, because we're so used to just talking about something, and then after a certain period of time elapses, we just forget it. Like Gore Vidal says, we're the United States of amnesia. And this was about Charlie Kirk, the man they say they love. Candace is the only one publicly pushing that question. Have you heard anyone else? Anybody else do it? And instead of backing careful questioning or encouraging her or even pushing back calmly, the response is mockery, personal attacks, and this spiritualized discomfort people talk about how she makes them feel, which isn't evidence and not courage, it's avoidance. And the behavior matches exactly what Dispatch 1035-960 described. Shift the focus from the issue to the person. Emphasize absurdity. Warn the public. Make the engagement costly. Collapse real questions into perceived insanity. And once you see the pattern, it is obvious. And it happens all the time. And what makes this moment dangerous is not Candace's questions. It's the normalizing of silencing. Silencing the idea that speech can be stopped because it feels wrong. The idea that evidence doesn't matter if moral certainty is loud enough, because that logic always grows. See, today is Candace. Tomorrow it's you. It's somebody else. It's me. It's whoever. It's Alex. It's Laura Loomer. They've got to be careful because what they do to Candace, they're going to do to them one day when they fall out of favor. And Candace doesn't need to be perfect. Nobody doing serious work is perfect, even close to it. And the audience isn't looking for saints. They're looking for honesty and courage and someone willing to ask hard questions. Ask hard questions when others are afraid, and they understand that. They understand that asking questions involves risk, and they respect that more than some kind of polished or pretend certainty. And the irony is brutal because every attempt to silence Candace makes her stronger. It's Nietzsche. Every attack spreads her reach. Every warning sends new listeners. And that's how the internet works. If you want to erase someone, you ignore them. You starve them of attention. You let them fade. But Candace can't be ignored because, my dear friend, she represents independence at scale. A world where permission doesn't matter. And that's why people panic and escalate and they grab labels instead of logic, and they lean on authority instead of proof. And this is the most important. They appeal to feelings instead of facts. You've heard this before. Remember what I'm saying. You're going to see it again. It's a pattern because they're losing control. And the real question is not whether Candace Owens or anybody is always right. It's whether asking questions is still allowed. When it becomes powerful, whether free expression was ever a real belief, or was it just a slogan? Whether truth matters only when it's convenient, and if Candace were truly wrecking herself, truly destroying herself with bad stories, the smartest move would be silence. Let her fall on her own facts. Let her destroy herself. That's what people would do. That would make the most sense. But every time I look at X and I look at trending, if I see Candace or Tucker, guess where I'm going? I don't understand it. Don't they know how this works? There's no such thing as trending because you're crazy, trending because you're an idiot, trending because you're wrong. It says trending. People are talking about you. People are discussing you. This is as old as it gets. I want you to listen, especially to our younger friends. Maybe this is new for you. But what I'm telling you right now is this happens all the time. All of us who've been doing this, all of us have been through this. Whether it's 9/11, before that it was Vietnam. There's a special now on Netflix about Seymour Hersh, Cy Hersh, an incredible reporter. My Lai, oh my God. I'm surprised he's even alive. He's the real deal. Snowden and Assange, and it goes on and on and on. But don't confuse it with that silly palace coup called Watergate. That's another story. You see, this is a very, very simple thing. Once a trend starts, once a mindset starts, once a way of handling starts. For example, once you label something conspiracy theory, You then attach all of the other accoutrements, crazy, insane, okay? You're weaponizing the word conspiracy theory. Just like you're adding now anti-Semite, transphobe, Islamophobe, racist. Notice un-American doesn't apply. That's never a problem. Never a problem. In fact, it's preferred. These labels mean nothing. And what they're doing is, this is classical conditioning. This is classical conditioning. Ring the bell, salivation. Ring the bell, call somebody an anti-Semite, call them a conspiracy theorist, and then there's rejection. We have to put an end to it. We have to stop it. We have to tell people, no. As Gore Vidal said, think about this. I'm not a conspiracy theorist. I'm a conspiracy analyst. And this is the thing which is also important to understand. If Candace Owens had 40 followers, 40, not 5 million, not 10 million, 40, she could be saying 10 times worse, whatever that means, of what she's saying, and nobody would care. The only reason they care is because of her popularity. And what she's saying appears to be true. You only take flack when you're over the target. This is elementary. It is a great word, abecedarian. It's axiomatic. It's absolute. Nobody cares about what you're saying unless it's true. Did you ever hear anybody complain or call the nut because they believe that Elvis is alive? Well, maybe nobody believes Elvis is alive, but the point is, it doesn't matter to anybody. Say what you want. It doesn't matter. UFOs are kind of like that. We don't really care about that. Nobody really will take you to task if you say you saw some UAP or EBE or UFO. Nobody cares about that. That's not. But if you get into certain areas specifically now, this suggestion of Candace, then we get into problems. See, also, interesting, Epstein was okay. It was okay for you to question the modality of death, whether it's homicide or self-harm, right? It was okay. It's all right. Until you went further. And you started saying, well, who would be responsible for that? If you said Trump did it, no problem. If you said the American government did it, no problem. CIA, no problem. The French did it, no problem. Guess which country you can't mention? Guess. Then it picks up speed. Then it's wait a minute. So what does that tell you? What does that tell you? There's something about the idea of people selectively screaming at you. Now, let me just say this again, and I want everybody to understand this, because I'm getting these wonderful text messages. I mean, not text, but these comments from you, and I thank you so much. Most of you have said, thank you for standing up, not for her, but for the truth. And then I get these. What's the matter with you? Don't you understand she's crazy? Seriously, don't you understand? She's crazy. Not what she's saying is crazy, or not what she's saying is wrong. And I'm thinking, this, after I've just put out a video like this, which says she's not crazy, don't call her crazy, call what she is saying crazy, or wrong. And immediately, people will say, she's crazy. It's like they don't know any better. I think people are being trained. It's almost like this weird Pavlovian patellar conditioning. Just repeat after us. She's crazy. Yes, she's crazy. I was doing a piece today with a friend of mine, Sean Atwood, and we were saying, somebody in his channel said, Ghislaine Maxwell's crazy. She's not crazy. What is this crazy? How come there's all these crazy people? Look, you're very smart. You're very smart. This is not about Candace Owens. It's not. Tomorrow it could be Tucker. It could be Alex. It could be Laura Loomer. And by the way, I say it again, if they try to shelve or sanction Laura Loomer or Candace Owens or AOC or Jasmine Crockett. I'd say the same thing. You can't do that. You can't tell somebody to shut up. Prove them wrong. But don't do this. I'm an American. I believe in the Constitution. I believe in the spirit of free expression. I do. This is exactly. So remember, it's not about Candace. She's the only one who's there, and they won't stop. They're calling her an anti-Semite. They're saying that Tucker is a Qatari agent. Oh, my God. So hang in there. Please accept this from me. My thanks for your incredibly kind comments. Thank you for your participatory vein. Thank you for your contributions. I got to tell you something again, and you've also been so very kind. My wife has been indefatigable in fighting for kids' online safety, preventing or fighting against digital predation, digital safety, human trafficking, about kids and how AI is just. And with President Trump recently voting against states being able to individually determine the standards that they want, that they think are relevant to apply regarding artificial intelligence. We can't believe it. We can't believe this. So it's very important for you to assist me. And I so would appreciate if you were to follow her at Lynn's Warriors, right here on YouTube, and listen to what's going on. Listen to her interviews. Listen to survivors. There's a world out there. And I keep telling you, if you think certain Middle Eastern political action committees or lobbying groups are powerful, you have no idea. You've never met big tech. You have no idea. They make big pharma, big agra, big Ange, the Big Ten, whatever it is, look like a walk in the park. So thank you for this. Thank you for your courage. Thank you for joining us. Please like this video, subscribe to our noble channel, and I've also got some questions for you to apply. Your responses are fantastic. I read all of them. This is a very important issue, my friend. So I thank you. And I wish nothing but happiness and health and safety during this season. I mean it. We're kind of a unique group. Let's make sure we always stick together, okay? Because we need each other. Remember, there's power. There's power in numbers. All right, my dear friends, have a great day and comment as you see fit.